Is the population going down, and is it taking you with it?
As fertility declines and natural disasters increase, the future of the human race becomes more and more uncertain. Let's talk about it.
First, we gotta tackle the why when it comes to this population control conspiracy. Why would anyone want to reduce the world's population? Well, some think resource management plays a big part in it. To me, this would be the most logical reason. The world does have a limited amount of resources, so if a small cabal of highly powerful people are orchestrating world events, it's logical to assume that they would want to attempt to prevent the population from getting out of control. Fewer people would also make it easier for said group to control economies and maintain their own power. A smaller population would mean less competition for jobs and resources, which could help keep the rich rich, the poor poor. But how could this small percentage of world elites execute something like this? Well, let's get into some of the theories.
One seemingly obvious way the global elites or one world government might be controlling the population is through pandemics, such as the Black Death of the 1300s, which had a death toll of between 75 and 200 million. And then there's the third cholera pandemic of the mid-1800s, which had a death toll of 1 million. The flu pandemic of the late 1800s, death toll 1 million. The sixth cholera pandemic of the early 1990s, death toll of more than 800,000. The flu pandemic of 1918, 20 to 50 million dead. The Asian flu, death toll of 2 million, the flu pandemic of 1968, death toll of 1 million, and the human immunodeficiency virus pandemic, which peaked in the early 2000s and claimed the lives of 36 million individuals. And then of course, there is the even more recent pandemic experienced globally with a death toll that continues to rise. While illnesses and outbreaks have been around throughout all of recorded history, many people have begun to theorize that the frequency of which they are taking place is no mere coincidence. Rather, conspiracy theorists believe that the government is actually creating and spreading these illnesses in an effort to decrease the global population so that when the time comes for a new world order, the dwindling masses will be easier to control.
The rollout of 5G promised faster downloads and better connectivity, but some saw it as a sinister plot to control or even wipe out large chunks of the population. Is there truth to 5G being a tool for global elites to control or reduce the population? Well, according to the theory, 5G networks use higher frequency waves than previous generations of wireless technology. Some conspiracy theorists think these high frequency waves are harmful to humans, possibly even causing cancer. And not only that, but the government and big tech companies know about these dangers, but are pushing 5G anyway to reduce the world's population. Some even believe that 5G towers are sending out mind control signals. Supposedly, these signals can manipulate people's minds, making people more compliant and easier to control. Clearly, this isn't working if people have caught on to it already. But the main fear is that 5G weakens the immune system, making people more susceptible to diseases.
Pharmaceuticals are another possible way that they, capital T, are controlling the size of the population. And it's quite smart when you think about it. Twisted and disturbed, but smart. Think about it. Big Pharma pushes medications that lead to a decrease in fertility rates, and then they sell other medications to rectify the issue. But those medications don't work, so you try something else, and another something else, and another, until your pockets have been pretty much completely emptied and you can no longer afford to bring a child into the world anyways. And then, because of the cocktail of medications you or your partner have been taking over the past couple of years while trying to conceive a child, your body has suffered irreparable damage, so you will, in turn, need to be on some other kind of medication for the rest of your life. It's a vicious, albeit lucrative cycle that doesn't benefit the masses because it's not designed to benefit the masses. It's designed to keep us reliant and, according to some, to keep the size of the population under the control of capital THEM.
Fluoride in water is another big topic when it comes to population control conspiracy theories. This idea has been around for decades and shows no signs of going away. So what's the deal with this one? Well, it all starts with the fact that many cities add fluoride to their water supply to help prevent tooth decay. But there's a conspiracy theory that fluoride is actually a poison being used to control the population. The government or some shadowy elite group is deliberately poisoning the water to keep people docile and less likely to revolt against authority because Fluoride, according to these folks, affects the brain, making people more submissive and easier to control, and that it can reduce fertility rates, contributing to a long-term plan to decrease the global population. They've pointed to studies that show that high levels of fluoride can lower sperm counts or affect reproductive health. These studies are usually done on animals and involve much higher fluoride levels than what's found in drinking water, but some people are still highly skeptical.
Alright, let's talk chemtrails, how they manipulate our food and water supply, and how that might possibly be the reason for a decrease in fertility rates and therefore a decrease in the global population. If you don't know what chemtrails are, don't worry because I will tell you. Chemtrails are visible trails left behind by aircrafts believed to be made up of chemical or biological agents released as part of a covert government operation. In simpler terms, the government is using planes to secretly distribute chemicals into our crops and into our water supply. Think you're safe because your zucchini squash is certified organic and non-GMO? Think again.
Chemtrails!
Think your grass-fed, free-range Wagyu burger is safe because the farm where the cow was raised never used antibiotics? Think again.
Chemtrails!
Think your water is safe because it's natural spring water with no added harsh chemicals? Think again.
Chemtrails!
Conspiracy theorists believe that the chemtrails going into our water supply are actually changing our DNA and causing us to either become infertile or lose the drive to reproduce altogether.
So why is VR and AI really being pushed so heavily? I mean, it really doesn't seem all that great for our mental, physical health, or quality of life for that matter, especially when it comes to AI. VR, I can kind of get into. I mean, like, who doesn't want to throw on a pair of goggles and hang out in their favorite fictional universe? Which one would you pick, Hannah?
I want to say The Simpsons, but that's really dumb.
Oh, that's fun. I'd probably pick like Star Trek or something like that. Come on, it's like an endless list. Like, who doesn't want to do this? But it's cool as this sounds. It could also lead to our downfall as a species. I mean, like, why bother dealing with the stresses and the heartbreak that come with real relationships when you could just have whatever you want virtually? Talking to friends and family in a virtual realm whose AI is almost indistinguishable from reality. Why go out and meet real people? Why go through the effort of starting a real family? It may sound kind of far-fetched now, but artificial intelligence and virtual reality could very well get to the point that it becomes just as real as the world around you right now, but without all the sad and boring bits.
Not so natural disasters could be another method of keeping population levels under control. On average, 60,000 people die per year due to natural disasters. In 2023, that number rose to 95,000. The statistics for this year, 2024, aren't out yet, but I'd say it's a pretty safe bet to assume that the number will continue to rise. Now, there is a conspiracy theory out there that says that the government uses the production of high-frequency radio waves in the ionosphere to control the weather and cause an increase in the global average temperature. A global rise in temperature equals a global rise in natural disasters equals a global decrease in population. In the 1900s, we were seeing about 39 incidents of natural disasters per year. In 2023, that number rose to 399. But not only do natural disasters directly affect population percentages, they also indirectly affect them too, in the way of economic loss, economic downfall, crash, whatever you want to call it. Who's less likely to increase the population? People who can't afford to. Coincidence? You tell me.
Were you worried that we were going to do an entire Global Elite conspiracy video without mentioning aliens? Just to make sure all is right in the world, I will do the honors. One conspiracy surrounding alien life is that they're not only present on Earth and have been for a long time, but that they're actively working with world elites to reduce the human population. And to what end? Well, in this case, it's pretty much impossible to say for sure. I don't know what kind of shady shenanigans aliens from across the galaxy are up to and what their goals are, but some conspiracy theorists and supposed whistleblowers have claimed that secret government programs have been working on all kinds of weird experiments. Some say they're integrating alien DNA into the general population, essentially transforming us all into human-alien hybrids. And the purpose? To breed us out of existence.
And then of course there is outright genetic engineering. An example of this would be CRISPR, a technology that research scientists use to selectively modify the DNA of living organisms through germline gene editing, which can target both sperm cells and embryos. What a fun name for something that targets sperm cells and embryos. CRISPR. Anyways, the theory here is that one day the elites will be malevolently using this technology to alter human genetics and genetically modify the next generation to be less likely or completely unable to reproduce. Not only that, but many people also believe that these sinister modifications also alter a person's immune system, making them more susceptible to illnesses and therefore increasing the mortality rates of the genetically modified offspring. The whole thing is very sci-fi, but it's 100% scientifically possible. And so the question isn't, is it possible, but rather, could someone or some organization really be so cruel? I mean, probably. Stay safe out there.
Alright folks, with all that said, let us know what virtual reality world you'd want to live in.
Chemtrails. Cheers.
Catch you next time.